Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making this little flowered towel holder. It is meant to open up and go around the handle of your oven or whatever other place you might be able to hang it. It is perfect for an addition to a Mother's Day gift, a birthday gift, housewarming, maybe for a bridal shower, and then you can just add a matching towel to go with it. So for this one I chose kind of a sunflowery kind of look. And my daughter bought me this cute little kind of blue daisy towel, so we're going to be making one to match that today. You're going to need one hair elastic and a button, and it can be any random button, but I would suggest at least 20 millimeters if you measure straight across. This one here is 25 and it works perfect, and the one I'm using today is 18, so I try and stay around the 20 millimeter mark, or it's maybe not gonna fit. If you use a smaller button, it'll look a little more like this. So it depends if you want to see everything on the inside or not. And then I will be using a 5 millimeter crochet hook today, but you can use whatever hook and yarn you want as long as they're fairly similar, and it kind of keeps a fairly tight little stitch. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you. But if you get lost or I do something you don't understand, there will be a 30-second drop down with the pattern instructions at the beginning of every row that you can refer back to. And don't forget, if you enjoy my videos, hit the subscribe button. Not only does that help me out, but you will also be notified every time I load a new video. I think that's everything, so grab your yarn and let's get started. Okay, we're going to begin with the holder, so we need to make a loop so we can attach our yarn to our elastic. So we're just going to make a knot with a loop on the end like you are going to make a chain. So just like this. Grab your elastic and your hook. Let's see how this might be a little awkward to start, but once you get going, it'll be quite easy. So you're going to bring that yarn around your elastic, and then you're just going to make a chain 1 and a chain 2. So you have 2 chains and your elastic is now attached. And all you're going to do is you're going to double crochet all the way around your elastic. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to go down through your elastic, catching that tail, grab your yarn, you're going to pull up and through so you have the 3 loops on your hook, grab your yarn again, and you're going to go through the first 2 loops, and then grab your yarn again and go through the last 2 loops, and there's your single or double crochet. And you're just going to continue all the way around. There is no set number of double crochets. Just so your elastic is covered and there's really no spaces there. And make sure you go over that tail the whole way or until you run out. And just keep going around and pushing that close together. You're probably going to have at least 30, maybe a little more. Try and keep your tension the same all the way around. When you get to your tail, just let it go on behind. Now mine is curling a little bit, so I've maybe pushed it a little too close together. You don't want it to be ripply, you want to be nice and straight. I'm just a little over halfway here. Whoops. This is so weird for me, crocheting in silence. I feel like I'm doing my second arm or something off camera. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Just kind of check that you're nice and even. I'm going to put a couple of more because I want to cover that elastic. And when you feel like you have enough, you're just going to come behind that first double crochet you made. So like here's your chain 2 and that first V up at top there. You're just going to go in there, grab your yarn, and then do a slip stitch. So just like that. Now for row 1, we're going to do 1 chain. And after this, all our chains will be at the end of the row. And we're going to, in the same stitch, single crochet, and we want a total of 8 single crochets across. So this will be 1 in the same stitch that we just chained and slip stitched, 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets, 4 single crochets, 5 single crochets, 6 single crochets, 7 single crochets, and 8 single crochets. And then we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we'll be doing that for every row. And I'm going to grab my stitch markers. So that was row 1. And for rows 2 to 16, we're just going to do 8 single crochets across, chain 1 and turn, and we're going to be starting in this first stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chain 1 and turn, and that was row 2. Again, 8 across, starting in that first stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make sure you're getting in that last stitch. 8. Chain 1 and turn. That was 3 rows. And again, 8 single crochets across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That was 4 rows. Another 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That's 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That's 6 rows. Another 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That's 7 rows. Another 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That's 8 rows. Another 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That's 9 rows. 1, 2, whoops, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That is 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That's 11 rows. 12, whoops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That's 12 rows. Another 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. That's 13 rows. Another 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, chain 1 and turn, and that is 14 rows. Another 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, chain 1 and turn. That's 15 rows. So this will be our last row, row 16. And if you, our next row is going to be a button row, so if you think it's not long enough, you can add a couple more rows. So for me, this is going to be my last. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chain 1 and turn. So you should have something that looks this size, and then if you added a couple extra rows so it would bend down, your button's going to go right around the second row of single crochets. So this will be where your button's going to start, so you need to decide if that's a big enough hole, and remember this will stretch a bit over time. Okay, now we're going to make our buttonhole. So we're going to do 3 single crochets across. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to skip 2 stitches and go into the third. 1, 2, and then into the third. We'll put our single crochet. So there's going to be 3 on this side. So that was 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now you're going to do 3 single crochets. Then you're going to do 2 single crochets into this hole and then 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochets into that hole. So just like you did the last set, you're going to go down and under, grab your yarn, pull up, and do your single crochet. And one more time, down and under, pull up, and finish your single crochet. And then you should have 3 stitches left. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and turn. Rows 19 and 20 are just going to be 8 single crochets with a chain 1 and turn at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, chain 1 and turn, and then for row 20 another 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now you're going to tie that off and leave a bit of a tail for weaving in. I usually leave about 6 to 8 inches or so. then you have lots. And you should now have a piece that looks like this. So we might as well weave in this end while we're at this point. So make sure you're looking at the front side, or whatever side you've decided to make the front side. So this is going to be my front side. This is going to seem backwards, but you want to weave your ends in on your front side, because even though you're looking at it like this now, when you fold it down to put it over the button, that will be your back side of your work. So thread your needle. And I like to go through the V of my last stitch I made, and then just come down and grab a piece of stitch. And usually I would weave in right here somewhere, but because this is going to have a lot of pulling when you put the button on and off, I'm going to come over around my buttonhole and weave it in, so that when you're pulling here, you're not going to be loosening this thread that you weaved in. So just weave it down a couple of rows. I'm going to go one more. So I'm under that buttonhole. And then I'm going to go back and forth on this row right here. So we just grab it, go around a stitch, and then go back the other way. Try and keep all your stitches on the side you're weaving in on. I'm just going to go 3 for this tutorial, but if you want to go more, so it's a little more secure, please do it your way. And then we're going to cut that off, and we're ready to do the next part. Alright, now we're going to make our little flower, and it's going to look like this. And you're going to leave a bit of a tail, and you're going to make your knot with the loop on the end, because we will be chaining this time. And we are going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then without letting this twist, you're going to come around like this, and you're going to slip stitch into this first chain you made. So just like that. All your stitches you want facing, well, for me, it's all my stitches are towards me, and there's no twist in that loop. Okay, now we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to do a pattern of 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 15, and we're going to start in that same stitch we just slip stitched and chained 1. So 1 and an increase, 2 and 3, 4 and an increase, 5 and 6. Make sure you're not letting that chain you made twist. 7 and an increase, 8 and 9, 10 and an increase, 11 and 12, 13 and an increase, 14 and 15. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the top of your first single crochet that you made. So it'll be your first actual V behind that first single crochet. Now we're going to make the petals, and that is going to be a combination of a chain 2 and then a double crochet cluster of 3 and then a chain 2 and a slip stitch. I will put that across as we go on the first petal, and then I will go a little slowly around. I think there'll be 7 total petals. Okay, so chain 2, and then in the next stitch you're going to do your double crochet cluster of 3. So yarn over into the next stitch, grab your yarn, pull up and through, grab your yarn and go through 2 loops and leave that 3rd loop on the hook, and you now have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to do that another time. Yarn over in through the same stitch you were just in, grab your yarn, pull up and through. Now you have 4 loops on your hook, and you're going to go through the first 2 loops. So grab your yarn through the first 2 loops, and you now have 3 loops on your hook. And we're going to do that one more time because we're doing it 3 times. Yarn over in that same stitch, grab your yarn and pull up and through. Now you have 5 loops on your hook. Grab your yarn, go through the first 2 loops, and now you have 4 loops on your hook. Now you're going to grab this yarn and you're going to go through all 4 of those loops. And now you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and you're going to slip stitch in this next stitch. Slip stitch. And that's 1 full petal done. I'm going to go a little faster now. Chain 2. In the next stitch, you're going to do your double crochet cluster of 3. So that's 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, all in the same stitch. Grab your yarn, pull through all of the loops. Chain 2. And slip stitch in the next stitch. So that's 2 petals. Let's make our 3rd. Chain 2. Do our double crochet cluster of 3. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then pull through all those loops. Chain 2. And slip stitch in the next stitch to finish off your 3rd petal. And then repeat that again. Chain 2, double crochet cluster of 3 in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3. Pull through all those loops. Chain 2. Whoops. And then finish off your petal with a slip stitch in the next stitch. So you now have 4 petals. Chain 2. Do your cluster of 3. 1, 2, 3, all in the same stitch, and then pull through and chain 2. 1, 2, whoops, 2, and finish that petal off with a slip stitch in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're on to our 6th one. Chain 2, Do your cluster stitch of 3. 1, 2, 3, all in the same stitch, and then pull through and chain 2, and then slip stitch to finish off that petal. We're on to our last one. Chain 2, do your double crochet cluster in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, and then grab your yarn, pull through, chain 2, and then finish that off with a slip stitch in the next stitch, and then you can tie that off. I haven't decided which is better yet, to go in the next stitch or go into this first chain you made, and I'm going to go into the first chain I made. And leave a bit of a tail for sewing that on. And there you have your flower. And now you're going to decide which way you want to put it on. I actually like the look of it upside down. So this one is upside down. This is what I would consider the right side. And I flip mine around so my petals curve down instead of up. So thread your tail onto your needle. Oops. And then you're just going to hold that kind of over your buttonhole, nice and even. I want my 2 petals here pointed diagonally away, and this one up at top. And if you want, you can throw a couple of pins in there. Just in case you're worried if it's going to move around on you. I might just put one on the bottom too. Okay. So you want to come up your flower so you're towards the center. And you're just going to go in and out. I went in this hole here, but if you want, you can go up here. So whatever you feel. And make sure when you come down, when you come back up, make sure you're not coming up in the same spot. You're going at least over a stitch somewhere, so that you're not just pulling that stitch right back through where you were. So you're just going back and forth until you get all the way around. Ooh, I picked a tight one there. Make sure you're leaving lots of room for that button to go through, especially if you're using a big one. I think I'm where I started, but I'm just going to go one more time just in case. And then I'm going to come back up, but I'm not going to go through my flower. I'm just going to come up and meet this tail where we made our first loop to start our chain. And I'm going to use those 2 strings to tie it nice and tight. And that way you're kind of hiding your, unless for some reason you're making them the same color, then you won't see this white down here as much. And then I'm going to thread that end onto my needle as well. And you can do these separately if you want, but I'm going to do mine together. Which means I probably should cut my yarns to match. And then I'm just going to close it up and weave it in down right along where they're joined. So just at the bottom there. And I'm making this one for myself, so I'm not too worried about how good I have it weaved in, but you make sure you have yours weaved in as good as you need it for whatever you're using it for. I think that's good enough for me. Whoops. And then now we'll get our button. Now make sure your needle is going to fit through the holes on your button, or it's going to be a lot trickier to do this part. And I have a trick, so you can use a small needle. 99% of the time it works. I don't know, I got a piece of fuzz on there. So you're going to thread your needle with a small piece of thread, doubled over. So you're going to have a loop on one side. So it's going to look like this. And you just made your own needle threader, as long as this thread doesn't break. So you may need stronger thread. And then you're going to put your, sorry, my camera's a little, you're going to put your yarn in that loop. The least amount you have to pull through, the better. And then you're just going to pull that through the hole, hopefully. Maybe I should use my, there we go. Didn't break anything. And now you have your yarn on your little teeny little needle. Of course, you don't have to use yarn to put this on either, but I just like the yarn of the look of the crisscrossing. Almost put in the wrong spot. So now you're going to put it in the middle, just above your row of double crochets. You can bring it around and kind of have a feel of where it is. Oops, I just poked myself. I lost my button, but so anywhere there around the first 2 rows of single crochets, and then you're just going to sew it on. I'm going to crisscross mine, and that is not working. I don't know why I have a problem pulling metal things through. They just slip right through. So grab the pliers, that works. There, it went through that time. All these little tips and tricks you pick up when you don't have the right tools. You just make do, right? Nope, why? Some reason I need pliers to come up but not down. And you can put that in and out as many times as you want. I'm going to do mine just this once so you know what the way I did it. And of course, if you have a better way, do it your way. And then I'm just going to tie that in the back. Cut your ends, and then you'll weave those ones in. I'll let you guys do that off camera because I think we're done. And let's just see how she looks. Oh yeah, I'm glad I picked that button. I didn't have a yellow one, so I didn't know if I want to do blue or white. I did paint one yellow, but it didn't look so great. Let's see what my pumpkin's tea towel looks like in there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be loving it. Oh yeah. I think that's going on my oven right now. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for crocheting with me. Let me know if you want to see more of these little tiny householdy things. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can be notified every time I load a new video. I hope you guys have a great day. Be safe. Oops, I want that to show up. And happy crocheting!